What's up, everybody? I'm Z-Wade, the Z-Wade, and Z-Wade Photo. And this year, 2022, is the second year in a row that I've gone out with a group of other photographers and shot the Wichita State University dance team. Now, the first year we did this, 2021, I actually shot what I regard as one of my greatest portraits ever. I'm going to throw that across the screen right now. Now, this was shot with the Nikon Z6 II and the Nikon Z MC105 f2.8. Yeah, the macro lens. It's my favorite portrait lens. This year, I'm going out with the Nikon Z9, fully capable of getting some action shots, and with the incredible eye tracking, we'll see that we were able to get some beautiful dance moves and some flowing kind of interpretive dance things, and because of the Nikon Z9's eye tracking, it was absolutely effortless. So like 2021, where I got one of my greatest portraits to date, maybe I got some other gems. Let's get into it. You might have noticed that I'm not using flash today, and that's because it's insanely windy and I don't have an assistant. Just look at the model's clothes. And another photographer unrelated to our shoot, his model loses her hat. Just past the anniversary of my back surgery, I spring into action. You wouldn't be able to hear it because of the treacherous wind, but she thanked me and we went on about our business. And I chilled out for a few minutes because I paid for that act of heroism with my back and my ankles. As soon as this train is behind you, I'll tell you when. 3, 2, 1, go! Woo! Go! Welcome to the Photo Follow-Up, where I cover the who, what, when, why, how, and with what stuff of the photo shoot that you just saw. For everybody that likes the Photo Follow-Ups, just stick around. For those of you that don't like the Photo Follow-Ups, I do appreciate you making it this far. A couple of things right off the bat. Obviously, you saw how atrocious the wind was this day, and I've gotten really used to using my flash and the beautiful results that I get, but I wasn't able to use it this day. I don't have an assistant, and I didn't want my flash flying away. Another fun fact, it's the first time I've ever filled up cards on the Z9 since I got it in June of 2022. I don't generally shoot rapid fire bursts because I mostly do portraits and landscapes and things, but since we were doing the dance moves and the moving around and stuff like that, and there were a few times I forgot to switch it out of rapid fire, and so I'd fire off like, 60 shots, just trying to get one single point shot. But it is what it is. The first image, kind of funny actually. This is not a pose, even though it looks like a pose. But if you saw in the video, the wind was actually blowing our dancers over in this particular pose, and so she caught herself with this arm right here. And she just had this beautiful smile because we were both laughing about how ridiculous the wind was. We got lucky on that one. This was probably my most successful series. I actually felt guilty about how many fantastic shots I got in such a short amount of time compared to the other dancers. It was just, everything was perfect. The scene was perfect. The dancer had some great fluid motions, and the Z9 followed the eye amazingly. And the wind was blowing and just making the shirt look so cool. And so, I mean, it was a short period of time that I spent with each dancer, but this one just blew up. But I just selected a few. This one, I just really love the clouds. I love the pose. It gives me a little bit of Backstreet Back, all right, or those days, the early 90s days, NSYNC and all them. I think they all did this kind of white shirt thing. The reason it worked out so good, the clouds look great. There's just a little bit of blue. I'm not a huge fan of like really, really saturated blues. And so there's just enough coming through, and there's no blue in the outfit that I would have to like individually select to maintain. And so it was actually a pretty easy edit, and it looks super cool. What I did to really kind of crunchify the background a little bit was I did a select subject invert, and then I added clarity to the background to get this really sharp puff in the clouds. But yeah, the wind blowing in her hair looks awesome. The jacket blowing in the wind looks awesome. 300 is overkill. Looks rad. And then of course I pulled back the texture a little bit to give it a bit of a glow. And this is probably my favorite shot. And actually this was probably the most fun to edit in the video because I got really creative. Go back and watch that. I worked really hard on this section, getting everything to line up with the music and all. And it turned out beautiful, and it's a beautiful shot. The only thing I don't like is this van in the background. And I don't even know who this belongs to, but it just kind of stayed there, and I'm not going to go through and spot heal that out. You guys probably knew that this was going to be in the video. 20 frames a second. This is actually not as sharp as this one, but the reason I don't really care is because the train is cut off a little bit, even though the focus kind of caught up with our dancer a little better in this one than it did in this one. But sharpness isn't everything. It doesn't have to be dead focus when you have something this cool. If this was a still subject, you would be embarrassed if it wasn't in focus, but I don't really care. This is perfectly composed, even though I had no control over that. Just the fact that it shoots off at 20 frames a second is what allowed me to get this, and it was just good timing. And I mean, it looks rad. It kind of gives me a little bit of film vibes down in here, but this is probably getting printed. But again, like I said, if you want to pixel peep and be technical, this one is technically sharper on the dancer, but So I selected this one for the photo follow-up because it is a very difficult area that I was shooting in without my flash. And so it was very dark back here, but I liked the sub-framing possibilities that I had with this pylon and this wall back here, and then this. Very, very, very tough shooting. And so I actually underexposed this pretty bad. It's at f1.2. I just wasn't paying attention. It's at 64 ISO. It really needed maybe 500 ISO, to be totally honest. This isn't like too far out of focus with the shallow depth of field. It's absolutely tack sharp on her face, which is where it should be. The hair looks good. I just had to do a lot of work to it. And this is probably one of my favorite photos of after my DJI Action 2 died. See, like even this is sharp right here. But this is starting to fall out because it is f1.2. But it's got like a nice glow to it from the pulling back the textures, and it is a nice subframe. I was shooting these at about 10 frames a second, I think, which is kind of overkill. She wasn't moving that fast. But anyway, I really, really like this shot. And since it was over or underexposed. I just went more painterly with it. It's got that kind of fine art softness to it, and I'm really happy with it. The same kind of thing, same tough shooting situation. On this one, I tried out a bit of a warmer tone, and I think I like this pose a little bit better than this one. This one is more dance-like, which is what we were going for, but this one here kind of more flowing into the next segment of the routine. It's just kind of more of like an action pose, right? Where this is, I mean, this is a dance move, and this is, I don't know, this has more action in it than this. This looks more like a pose, and this is more of it has motion while being still, if that makes sense. Trying to get through it, guys. Let me get a sip of coffee. I've been working on this for you guys all day. So on this one, I wanted nothing more. This is not in motion. I had the dancer, she was moving around and dancing and doing the interpretive kind of style flowy dance, but I saw this right here and I had her pause and I had her just move her hands around because I wanted this really high contrast kind of half of her face just perfectly split down her nose. And it's just, I really would have liked to have had this blasted by the sun, but that would be very rude for the model. And so I you know, told her to bring it down a little bit to where it wasn't blinding her, and just counted down, close your eyes, 3, 2, 1, open your eyes. Anyway, that's how I do it. But this is a super cool high contrast black and white shot. This is the main focus. If anything, I kind of wish I had the 50mm f1.2 a little bit closer and just kind of maybe gotten from here up. But, you know, it is what it is. I still think there's enough draw to the face. And this one isn't exactly the subframing that I chose this area for, but I really, really like the pose, and I like how it looks in black and white. Again, I went with a really soft, pulled back look, a painterly kind of fine art kind of style, and it gives it a bit of a glow. It's just, I mean, it's absolutely in line, even at f1.2. She is so straight in her pose that the plane of focus literally covers like the entire pose. Maybe just barely, like, no, that's even it right here. It cuts off. I mean, she is just straight as an arrow. So excellent job to this dancer. That's it for this photo follow-up. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.